السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. وعن عائشة رضي الله عنها أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال. So Aishah said that the Messenger of Allah said, إذا نعس أحدكم في الصلاة فليرقد. Says if somebody is praying, if one of you is praying and you get really tired, you should go and sleep. Remember, this is in the chapter continuing about praying at night, qiyam al-layl. If you get very tired, or even if it's in the daytime, if you get very tired, you should sleep. حتى يذهب عنه النوم, until sleep goes away from you. فإن أحدكم إذا صلى وهو ناعس لعله يذهب يستغفر فيسب نفسه. So he said, if one of you is praying and you're very drowsy, you're very sleepy, it might be that you go and you try to ask Allah for forgiveness, but you actually end up cursing yourself, or like invoking something. You may end up saying something that you didn't even intend to say in the first place, because you're not even thinking about the wording or the meaning. This is Mutfaq عليه. This is in Bukhari and Muslim. And there's another hadith from Abu Huraira, almost the same thing. I'll just mention the summary here. He says, إذا قام أحدكم من الليل فاستعجم القرآن على لسانه فلم يدري ما يقول فليضطجع. Says, if one of you is praying, and he says at night, and you're stumbling with reciting the Quran, and it's difficult for you, and your tongue is not even able to move properly, and you don't fully understand what you're saying, you should go and lie down. You should take a break. Rawah Muslim. This is in Sahih Muslim. So there's a few concepts here. The first concept is that if you're going to be praying to the extent that you're not paying attention to what you're saying, and you're actually potentially changing the words and you're saying something incorrectly, or you're not focusing on the meaning, then you should take a break. Now, the situation in reality is, how many people fall into this situation today? I would argue, few people. The reason why is, in the time of the Sahaba, they were hardcore when it came to prayer. They used to try and pray half the night. Some of them would be like, you know what? We've decided, they were young people, young Muslims. And when the young Muslims heard, they said, you know what? You got to be careful of fitna, of, women and this and that. They'd be like, we're going to fast every single day. We're never going to get married. We're going to pray all night. Today, we don't find people with that level of zeal. It's rare. You find some people, but it's rare. Here, the Messenger of Allah, he was warning the people who had that level of zeal. They're praying so much that they're getting so exhausted and tired that they're not focusing in what they pray, in what they're saying. So he says, you need to take a break. You really, really need to take a break. And the principle still applies. Sometimes people do something too much and they need to just take a little break to recharge. Here, it's more important because you may be saying the wrong thing. Nonetheless, we learn a secondary auxiliary lesson from this. And that is, not only can you mess up what you're saying, but what you're saying matters. The words that you're saying matter very much. And there are people who don't take the time to even understand what they're saying when it comes to the prayer. There's people who've gone on for many years and they still don't have an understanding of what they're saying. And you just need to go and look at a translation of what the meanings of the prayer is. And when you do know the meanings of the prayer, the goal is to try to understand and focus on the meaning while you're saying what you're saying, because that's the purpose of prayer. Otherwise, if it was just a formula and it didn't matter that you're connecting the meaning to what you're saying, what great effect is that going to have on you? It still has benefit. So it's very, very important that we understand that the purpose behind our prayer, the purpose behind things, is to understand them, to say them correctly, and to the same way the Messenger of Allah said, we don't want to mess them up. Because if you mess them up when you say something wrong, even if you didn't intend it, still, it has consequences. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us energy in our worship. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a correct understanding and a deep understanding of our religion, and the ability to connect with what we say and put it into our hearts and connect that with what we mean. Ameen. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Assalamu alaikum.